Hey everyone, welcome to one more chapter of the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. My name is Tom Miller. I am a executive leadership coach and founder of the company Leaders Building Leaders, where our mission is to be the difference maker in the leadership development of individuals and organizations. Also a certified John Maxwell executive coach, and that's what we'll be talking about today is John's, from his 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth, the law of modeling. And no, I'm not going to be up here in any bikinis or any other modeling type of pair. But this is the law of modeling in a sense of it's hard to improve when you have no one to model it for you, right? So there's so many things to think about when we think about modeling, right? We've already learned about the law of the big picture, right? What people do is what people see. So it's always important that we're always modeling. I told the story about Derek Jeter and Don Mattingly in the open baseball field at the Yankees complex when Derek Jeter was just, 19, 20 years old. And he and Mattingly were doing some extra work, and there was no one on the field. And Mattingly said, "Let's make sure we run off because you never know who's watching." Right? So Mattingly knew and understood that leadership is all about modeling. So to be a great leader, you need to find someone too that you also can model, right? Because great leaders know the way and they go the way and we follow them, right? So what makes people follow you? What is it about you that makes people want to follow you, right? How are you modeling character and integrity, honesty, humility, effective communication? It's extremely important that you think about these aspects. I mean, I tell the leaders that I have just the greatest honor to coach and spend time with is that you're in a fishbowl. People are always watching you, right? I remember when I was a principal, and you see like all these great lines, and I got no hair, and I always was red in the face, and people just were like, nobody wants to talk to you because you just look angry all the time. I was like, I'm just sunburned and just wrinkly, I guess, right? But I was always, mean face, and you have to really think about how important it is to understand how your body language represents your ability to communicate and connect with other people. So modeling is a big part of that, right? What type of people should you look to follow, right? So let's talk about a couple of characters. Number one is a worthy example. Someone who's a worthy example. So obviously you can, follow those that you see in Us magazine. Is it Us Weekly, right? My daughter is always, she's 9 now, and she's always coming through that Us Weekly magazine. And certainly there's certain individuals in there that I would love for my daughter to, follow their path, right? And there's some people that I was like, they're just making bad mistakes, but that's what life is all about, making mistakes. And I always talk to her, I said, well, let's see how they bounce back, right? Let's see how they bounce back. So, worthy example is someone who knows the way, goes the way. So we talked about that. For me, a great model for me that I always love to watch from a baseball perspective. I already talked about Derek Jeter, Don Mattingly. Thoroughly enjoy them, and Mattingly's and Jeter's reign as captain of the Yankees for 30 of my 40 years of life. Just great representatives. Again, my father-in-law, they're just great models. My mentor in life, Dan Juriska, just is always modeling that don't sweat the small things, Tom, and everything's small, right? So who are those people in your life that model the way, go the way? I've got mentors and models from a business perspective, from a leadership perspective, folks that I've met and folks that I haven't met. Right? So who is that person? So one, they need to be a worthy example. And only you can define what worthy is. And then the challenge is looking at those character traits in them and see what you have. Do you have the character traits? Do you have the same traits of why you follow them instilled in you on a daily basis? Two, is they're available. It's important to be available because remember, great connectors go first. So you want someone who's available to you, someone who is listening, right? Who listens to understand, not necessarily to reply, but when they listen, they're listening for those key words to hold you accountable, right? So 2, they're available. 3, they have proven experiences. Anybody that you would want to follow, you would hope that they have proven experiences. Recently, I was listening to a podcast, I believe, or maybe I was reading a book, I don't know, but it specifically talked about if you are the least successful person in the room, right? You're in the right room if you have the right attitude. But if you're the least successful person in the room and you have an arrogance and you're giving ideas, you need to learn how to shut up. All right, think about that. You always want to surround yourself with individuals that are ahead of you so you can learn and be modeled about how to move forward. But if you're in that room and you're constantly talking about you and all about you and your skills and successes around other successful people, it's not going to go very well. All right, so 3, these people have proven experience. 4, that they possess wisdom. And I heard this quote from one of my mentors, Ed DaCosta. He said, I hope I get it right. He said, do you know the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing that you don't put a tomato in fruit salad. Right? So whoever that you follow, whoever's modeling the way for you, you want to make sure that they have wisdom. Right? True wisdom from experience, mostly from their failures. That's very, very important to think about. Right? So, and then one more, someone who makes a difference. Right? You don't want to follow somebody who is mediocre and status quo. You want to follow someone who's making a difference in the world. Right? Who's paving a way. Who has something that they truly believe in that you too also want to believe in, right? So let's go through those 5 real quick. Then I want to think about, and then I want you to reflect on yourself. So 1, they're a worthy example, right? Someone who knows the way and goes the way and shows the way. 2, that they're available. 3, they have proven experience. 4, they possess wisdom. And finally, that they're a difference maker. How are they making a difference? So take those 5, think about the people that you follow, but then also give yourself a self-assessment. Give yourself a self-assessment on those 5. As we're talking right now, you can see in this room, I'm actually in the playroom for my kids, but in our room is actually, if I pan the camera around, you obviously see the world map, but it might be difficult to see, but there's actually a bunch of pins, one for every person in our family where they want to travel, right? So there's one pin showing where we have been, and then there's another pin showing that where we would like to go, right? So we're modeling, traveling about experiences. Over here, we have our vision board. If I can get to them. We have our vision boards. So at the start of the year, we all make vision boards about what we would like to accomplish. We have many pictures of family and diplomas and experiences. Right? Great leaders like Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, so it's always important to be thinking about how are you modeling the way? How are you modeling and showing the way? Let me straighten myself out here. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's finish up with this. So let's finish up this law of modeling. You need a coach, right? The only way to get there is if you have a coach. All right? And remember, a coach specifically is not someone who tells you what to do. All right? This is different from an athletic coach, right? Athletic coaches spend a lot of time modeling, training, teaching, consulting, right? Showing you how you're wrong. But leadership coaches, right? Coaches for your own personal growth, they focus on you. See, the answer lies within you. The answer to those 5 great character traits of those that you want to model yourself after, they lie within you. Carl Jung taught us that that until you bring the unconscious to the conscious, it'll rule your life, and you will call it fate. It's all about awareness. So coaches bring out awareness. Coaches help because they ask questions, they listen, they hold you accountable, they teach you about reflection, and they challenge you. So the one way, great coaches exist all over. Right? Some may be in your hometown, some you may have to reach out for, but some maybe is a great book, like The 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. That's a coach in itself. There's invaluable questions right there that can coach you through the person that you aim to be, the person that you want to model for your children, right? For your children, for their children, right? For your future grandchildren, maybe you have current grandchildren, for your neighbors, for your community, for the schools that you lead, the organizations that you lead. A coach can get you there, right? It's the only profession where they can take the actions that are within you and help them come out. So, my challenge to you is that self-assessment of those 5 questions, right? Those 5 characters that bring you to be someone who would want to follow you, but most importantly, other people that you would follow, right? Worthy examples, that they're available, proven experiences, they make a difference, and they have wisdom. My second challenge is to get a coach, right? To find someone who will coach you and hold you accountable so you can close the gap from what you know to what you do, because that's the biggest gap in all of our lives. Hope this was valuable to you. Make sure that you are modeling the behavior, the character that you aim to see in the people around you. Thanks for your time.